I know you're already thinking about what to plant next spring. That's why I would like to introduce you to my favorite raspberry, Polana. Polana is the easiest raspberry to grow in my experience. Polana is very productive. The fruit is large, almost twice as large as a regular raspberry. Firm and delicious. Polana is one of the earliest bearing fall raspberries. They mature in mid-August and early September, right after I'm done picking the blueberries. So I always have fresh fruit to eat. I freeze extras, make jam and wine to sip during the cold winter nights. Especially in the fall, the raspberry flowers are very beneficial for all the bees and the wasps when a lot of other flowers stop flowering. And you could see the activity here. It's out of control. There's like a concerto of bees and bumblebees and wasps. The Polana plants are extremely hardy. The growing zone is 3 through 8. They survive just fine without any damage in minus 30 Fahrenheit in late fall before winter. I cut the canes close to the ground. Next year, the new canes start growing from the ground, and these canes will produce the raspberries for that year. So you don't have to worry about the last year's canes producing the new year's raspberries and things like that. And that's why the Polanas get zero winter damage, because they come out in the spring. I fertilize them. I sprinkle compost on the ground in May. Now I want to go and pick some. The darker red they are, the sweeter and more ripe they are. This one is very ripe. This one you have to eat. It helps if you're ambidextrous. The thorns are very tiny, which makes it for easier picking. They don't require any trellising. Their canes are very upright and strong. Yeah, they're supporting themselves pretty much. I'm telling you, I just can't say enough wonderful things about them. They're very resistant to diseases. You don't see ever any mold. You can use them on waffles, on pancakes, in cakes, on ice cream, to make jam from it, to make sauce from it, in salads, in vinaigrettes. They ripen gradually. All of these still have to ripen. All of these. I could go picking every day or every 2 days, and you could be picking them for 2 months, starting August, sometimes if there's no freeze, through October. You don't have to have a big patch. You could have a tiny patch. Okay, and you can see the amount of pollinators that they attract, and that's a good thing. You could have bees and honey. Raspberry honey. Organic raspberries are not inexpensive. So this is really getting you ahead of the system because you're saving a lot of money. And you know what you put on them. You probably fertilize them with some nice organic compost. Next year I'm going to make aisles. This year I was just too busy planting trees, fruit trees. So far so good. Breakfast of champions. I noticed today the blue jays were eyeing these raspberries, but I told them, you go and find yourself another patch, because this patch is mine. This is 1 day. Can you imagine 1 day of picking? I already have like, I don't know, 6-8 gallons of these frozen. Sometimes I eat more than I pick. My raspberry patch is a little out of control because I haven't been making rows and spaces and all of that. But the best way to plant them is in rows with some space, so you can go through and be able to pick them in a very easy way. I will do that next spring because I'm going to transplant some into a new location, so I could have many rows of this wonderfully delicious and productive raspberry. Because of cold, I had to build a structure to protect the fruit and flowers from frost damage. So that's where they are, all happy. But you can see that there's still bees here pollinating the fruit. I read somewhere that conventional frozen fruit that you buy out there has a mold that you actually don't see. And that's why I like to grow fruit that I could freeze for the winter. And later on I could make juice from it. I could use it in baking. I could make jams. I could use it frozen in banana shakes. It's really wonderful to have it ready, organic, and you know what's in it. Homegrown is the most important thing. Now, I don't want to leave you hanging and not show you what I'm going to do with my organic raspberries now that I picked them. So it's hot, it's summertime, well, almost fall. Anyway, it's still pretty hot. I'm going to make a raspberry sauce, which in Austria and Germany they call heiße Liebe. Now, already it sounds hot because it is. It's hot love. Heiße Liebe, hot love. I take the raspberries, I take a little bit of organic sugar, and I cook it until it becomes liquidy, sauce-like. And you could go 2 ways. You can strain the seeds at that point and reduce the sauce so it becomes nice and thick, or you can use it with the seeds. Of course, that's additional nutrients and fiber for you. So let's do it. Gas is on. organic raspberries in. A little bit of organic sugar. I'll let the juice out a little bit. You can cover it, but you don't have to. Because the juice comes out pretty quickly. Don't add any additional liquid because raspberries contain lots of moisture, lots of juice. And cook it down. Oops. Just a small caveat here on why I use only organic cane sugar. First of all, almost all sugar beets are genetically modified, so they get sprayed heavy with herbicide Roundup. Roundup contains glyphosate. California listed glyphosate to cause cancer this July. Organic sugarcane fields are not burnt or treated with herbicides and synthetic fertilizers. Organic cane sugar is extracted without the use of additives and synthetic chemicals. Last but not least, no chemicals or animal byproducts are used to make the sugar white. This sugar is good for me, so what are you gonna choose? Organic sugar like I do? Things are not that simple anymore. You can't just go in the field and start chomping on a sugar beet. You gotta use your brain. You know, I feel good about using something healthy. You wanna pay attention to these things. You gotta get a grip on reality. So, I'm not a lab rat. I'm not an experiment. I think about what I eat, you know? I give a damn about what I eat. I like to eat. 5 to 8 minutes later, I turn it off. My Hazeleva is ready to go. I love coconut ice cream, so that's what I use. Or I make my own. And now I put my hot raspberry love sauce on top of the ice cream. Weehaw! I picked some fresh mint this morning. A sprig of mint will make it look pretty. And for really dramatic effect, nasturtiums, which are nice, edible, pretty flowers from my garden. Bon appetit. Breakfast is served. Yum. I'm in love. It's gotta be that Hazeleba. Woo. Hasta la vista.